Hey guys, this is Trainer Dino here, and today I'm back with the next part of the What If Ash Woke Up on Time series. Before I start, I would like to thank everyone who subscribed to the channel and who liked my previous video. I never expected such a positive reception to my style of storytelling, so I would like to thank you guys so much. And it just means a lot to me because I put so much effort into making the first part, and because of that, I was motivated to just work on the second part right away after the video released. I saw a lot of your comments. I will try to address your requests and thank you for all the positive comments that you guys put out in the previous video. Before we start, however, I would like you guys to notice the message that our friends Haunter and Gangar are telling us. They're telling you to join our Discord, the link of which will be provided in the description below. There we can discuss anything Pokemon or anime or anything related to the nerdverse, I guess. And there is also a self-promo section where you can promote your own content, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, or whatever. And as long as you abide by the rules, I'm sure that we all will have a great time. So without further ado, let's dive right into the story. This is What If Ash Woke Up on Time, the Johto Saga, Part 1. Now, the reason I decided to divide the Johto saga into two parts is that, first of all, the gym leader arc took a long time to make, and I think that such long videos are they are difficult to watch, and so I decided that the first arc will be focused on the gym leaders, and then the second part will be focused entirely on the Johto League. So that way I can animate the battles a lot better and I can give you guys a better narration of the battles that will take place in the Johto League. With that being said, we continue right where we left off. Ash lost in the semi-final of the Indigo Plateau Conference. This was extremely heartbreaking to him as he had trained so hard before the league and he thought that he truly hit a new level while he was racking up victories after victories in the Pokemon League. However, this is where he learned a very important lesson that no matter how strong you become, there will always be someone who is stronger than you by a margin or maybe more. So, with this lesson in mind, Ash and Brock both head back towards Pallet Town. Now, because Team Rocket is not following them and interfering in their plans, there is no Fiero Saga, which means that Pidgeot does not need not be released into the wild and stays with Ash for the time being. Upon arriving to Pallet Town, where they are treated to a party by Professor Oak, Ash and Gary are hailed as Pallet Town's heroes as they were the two trainers who made it to the Pokemon League and did very well for themselves. After the party is over, Gary, who is still disappointed about losing so early in the league, decides to head off on his own journey to become stronger. This is where Professor Oak tasks Brock and Ash to go to Valencia Island and fetch a special Pokeball from Professor Ivy. Because once again, because of the absence of Team Rocket, they arrive safely on the island, and Brock, being Brock, falls in love with Professor Ivy and decides to stay with her. Ash takes the GS ball and returns to Professor Oak. And because Team Rocket is not piloting the blimp this time, it never crashes, and Ash reaches Pallet Town safely and hands Professor Oak the GS ball. As he does, Professor Oak conducts his research and is unable to find any concrete theory on the GS ball, so he assumes that the only person who may be able to provide a detailed description of what the ball is for, he he tasks him to take the ball to Johto region to Kurt, who is the expert maker of Pokeballs. And and he also tells Ash that the Johto region has their own set of gym leaders and the Pokemon League. So with this information in hand and freshly motivated to start his new journey, Ash sets off for the Johto region. Now the biggest difference in this part is that neither Brock nor Misty will be accompanying him in this journey. He decides to take his Eevee, Ivysaur and Charizard on his journey with him. Upon reaching New Bark Town, he meets with Professor Elm, registers for the Pokemon League, and heads off for the Violet City. As he's on his way to Violet City, he still encounters Heracross and catches it, making Heracross his first capture of the Johto region. Just on the outskirts of Violet City, Ash also catches his Chikorita just like the original, making it his second capture, and bringing his team to 5. Upon arriving at Violet Gym, Ash immediately goes on to challenge the gym leader, Faulkner. He accepts this as they head on to the battle arena. As the battle starts, Faulkner starts off with his Dodrio, and Ash, wanting to match speed with speed, starts off with Eevee. Eevee is able to keep up with Dodrio's drill pecks and jump kicks by using quick attack to dodge and attack at the same time. When Dodrio attempts to use another jump kick, Ash orders Eevee to use Dig. As Eevee burrows underground, the jump kick misses and causes Dodrio some damage. Dodrio, however, is ready for this as as it leaps into the air and fires with a drill peck at Eevee as soon as it emerges from the ground. Eevee barely manages to dodge two of Dodrio's head, but the third one strikes it, sending it flying backwards. Eevee fires off a Swift and Dodrio tries to dodge it, but because Swift has 100% accuracy, the stars follow Dodrio around before hitting it and causing huge damage. After which Dodrio tries another drill peck, however Eevee is able able to charge up a Skull Bash, and once the two moves collide, Eevee comes out on top as it KOs Dodrio, giving Ash his first win. Next, Ash recalls Eevee to to give it some rest, as he sends out his Chikorita against Faulkner's Hoot Hoot. Due to the type disadvantage and the experience gap between the two Pokemon, this battle is fairly one-sided, as Chikorita is unable to mount any significant offense. It manages to connect with a Resolute, but all that's all she can do for now. A Peck attack takes her down and brings the battle one-on-one. Ash next sends out Eevee, who is rested up a bit after its battle with Dodrio. This one is a competitive battle for a while, as Eevee is trying to analyze the patterns in which Hoot Hoot is moving and trying to attack with Peck. Once it does, it is able to connect with a swift attack, follows it up with a quick attack. This damages Hoot Hoot a lot as it tries to fly into the air. Eevee senses this and fires off a Skull Bash in the position that Hoot Hoot will try to dodge. Skull Bash once again scores a KO for Eevee and brings Faulkner down to his last Pokemon. This of course is Pidgeot, and this Pidgeot is much larger than the one that Ash has in Pallet Town. After going through two battles, Eevee is extremely tired, and as soon as it attempts to use a quick attack, Pidgeot counters with a quick attack of its own, knocking the tired starter Pokemon out. For his last Pokemon, Ash of course picks Charizard, and and although Charizard has trouble dealing with Pidgeot's speed initially, it's able to analyze Pidgeot's movements and is able to catch it in a seismic toss, finishing the battle and giving Ash his first gym battle victory of the Johto region. This gives Ash the Zephyr badge and much needed experience for his newly got Chikorita. Sadly, the events of Pacific Valley takes place as Charizard is still not strong enough to compete with the Charizard of the Pacific Valley, so he decides to stay and train with them to grow much stronger and be more help to Ash later on in his journey. Just like the original, Ash replaces Charizard quickly by catching a Cyndaquil, and just look at how cute it is. After this, after this, Ash goes on to Azalea Town, where he meets Kurt and the whole Slowpoke saga takes place. After giving him the GS ball, Ash heads on to the Azalea gym. There he meets Bugsy and challenges him to a Pokemon battle. Bugsy of course accepts this, as the battle begins just like the original, with Ash sending out Cyndaquil and Bugsy sending out Spinarak. And sadly, just like the original scenario, Cyndaquil is unable to get its flame going, and this forces Ash to switch it up and send out Eevee. Eevee matches Spinarak for speed and overpowers him based on strength. Spinarak tries to get the advantage by using its string to create a network around the gym. However, Eevee is able to cut the threads using Swift Attack and follows this up by a combination of Quick Attack and Skull Bash to finish off Spinarak. The next Pokemon out is Metapod, and the only thing Metapod can do is brace itself for impact, as the only move it has is our Harden and String Shot. After absorbing some pretty significant hits, Metapod finally goes down. The last Pokemon in Bugsy's arsenal is Scyther, and Scyther proves to be not only faster but also more powerful than Eevee. Eevee tries to connect with a Skull Bash, however Scyther is able to dodge and connect with a Slash attack. When Eevee tries a quick attack, Scyther evades it using Double Team and powers up with Sword Stance before finishing Eevee off with another Slash. This forces Ash to send out Cyndaquil once again. And just like the original one, after struggling to connect with a clean hit with a flamethrower, as Cyndaquil is unable to connect with a direct hit with a flamethrower because of Scyther using Sword Stance, just like the original, Ash comes up with the idea to connect with a flamethrower from up above. This succeeds as Scyther is taken down, giving Ash his second victory in the gym battle and the Hive badge. After this, the journey takes place as usual, as Ash is able to catch Totodile, this time much easier because of the absence of Misty, and also in the Ilex forest he is able to catch his shiny Noctowl. Ash sends Ivysaur back to Professor Oak's lab as he intends to use Noctowl and his other new Pokemon to help them grow as well. Upon reaching Goldenrod City, Ash goes on to challenge the gym leader Whitney. The battle begins as Whitney sends out Clefairy and Ash sends out his Chikorita. Clefairy starts off with a metronome which turns into a tract. This however fails as both the Pokemon are of the female gender. Chikorita is able to connect with Razor Leaf and Vine Whip. The next metronome however turns into a Fire Punch which causes super effective damage to Chikorita. However, Chikorita is able to wrap Clefairy up with a Vine Whip and slam it to the ground before connecting with another Razor Leaf which finally KOs the normal fairy type. The next Pokemon for Whitney is Nidorina. Chikorita has a difficult time battling Nidorina because of the type disadvantage and also because Nidorina has the power advantage over the first stage grass type. Razor Leaf is countered by Poison Sting and a Horn attack takes down Chikorita, evening the battle out for Whitney. Cyndaquil is sent out next, and after enduring another Horn attack, it's able to burn through the Poison Sting and connect with a powerful Fire Spin, followed by a Flamethrower which takes down the Poison type. The next Pokemon is Whitney's ace, Miltank. Miltank is able to make quick work of Cyndaquil by blasting through its flamethrower using Rollout and KOing the fire type. After this, Ash sends out his first capture of the Johto region, Heracross, thinking that it would have the type advantage over the normal type Miltank. However, to Ash's horror, it realizes that Heracross does not have any fighting type moves in its arsenal, and this renders him only to use Takedown. And although they are even in the power and speed departments, Heracross's takedown causes recoil damage, while Miltank's rollout does not. On top of this, Miltank is able to heal up using Miltank, and this slowly wears Heracross down as another successive rollout takes out the bug type. Ash, realizing the flaws in his strategy, decides to improvise a bit. He requests Professor Oak to send out his Primeape as he intends to help Heracross learn new fighting type moves with his original fighting type. This works as Heracross is able to learn Brick Break, and in the rematch which features just one-on-one battle between Heracross and Miltank, Heracross is able to make quick work of the normal type using its new move. This gives Ash the Plain badge, which is his third badge overall. After this, he participates in the bug catching contest and is able to catch a Beedrill. And unlike the original timeline, there is no Casey, so Ash sends over Beedrill to Professor Oak. He also participates in the Grass type tournament, and although his Chikorita gains some valuable experience in battling, he is unable to win the tournament. The next stop for Ash is Equtric City, where he meets the leader Morty and challenges him to a battle. The battle begins as Ash sends out his newly caught Totodile against Morty's Ghastly. Totodile has Bite Attack in its arsenal, which of course is super effective against the Ghost type. Although this battle continues for quite a while, Totodile is eventually able to KO Ghastly using its Bite Attack. However, Ghastly is also able to paralyze Totodile with Lick. And when Haunter comes in, the paralyzed Totodile has just had enough and is taken out by a Nightshade. Cyndaquil is out next, and after yet another close-fought battle, is able to defeat Haunter with a flamethrower attack. Gengar is sent out next, and although Cyndaquil tries to trap Gengar in its fire spin, Gengar is just too powerful as it takes Cyndaquil out. And just like the original, Ash sends out Noctowl, and just like the original scenario, after struggling a bit with Gengar's ghostly movements, Noctowl is eventually able to take Gengar out, giving Ash his fourth gym battle victory and the Fog Badge. After this, Ash goes on to Olivine City, where unfortunately he is unable to battle Jasmine because Ampharos is sick, and this forces Ash to go to Cianwood Island to to get the medicine for Ampharos. Upon reaching Cianwood Island by a boat and getting the medicine, Ash challenges the gym leader Chuck, the fighting type expert. As the battle begins, Chuck sends out his Poliwrath and Ash sends out Chikorita. Although this is a tough battle, Chikorita eventually is able to evolve into Bayleaf and takes out Poliwrath. Although Poliwrath is able to connect with an Ice Punch, which also takes out Bayleaf, making it a double KO. Next, Ash sends out Noctowl against Chuck's last Pokemon, Machoke, and Noctowl is able to defeat Machoke using its Confusion attack, giving Ash his fifth patch. After this, Ash participates in the World Cup in order to gain some valuable experience for his prototype. After getting Golduck from Professor Oak, Golduck and Totodile train for the World Cup rigorously, and this pays off in its first battle as it's able to defeat a powerful Kingdra despite being a huge underdog in this fight. In the next round, Ash and Totodile battle Gyarados, and although Gyarados is able to manhandle Totodile in the early exchanges of the battle, the training with Golduck finally pays off as Totodile evolves into Croconaw. Croconaw is able to defeat Gyarados using its Crunch attack, and this leads to the final battle between the trainers Chimchar and Ash's Golduck. And Chinchou is unfortunately able to defeat Golduck because of the terrain advantage, thus eliminating Ash from the World Cup. However, Ash is still able to go back to Olivine City and heal Ampharos with the medicine he got from Cianwood, and this enables him to challenge Jasmine for the badge. The battle begins as Jasmine sends out Magnemite and Ash sends out Heracross. Although Magnemite is able to paralyze Heracross in the early exchanges of the battle, Heracross is eventually able to take Magnemite out with a Brick Break. When Jasmine sends out Steelix, Heracross is paralyzed and is unable to move the first turn. This allows Steelix to go for an Iron Tail. Heracross is able to connect with a few Brick Breaks, but it barely causes any damage to Steelix despite being super effective. Steelix connects with a Dig attack which KOs Heracross, and Ash sends out his Cyndaquil. And just like the original, it's a really tough battle for Cyndaquil despite having the type advantage. One thing that changes from the original is that due to being used more than the original timeline, Cyndaquil has enough experience to evolve into Quilava. And Quilava is able to make quick work of Steelix using its powerful flamethrower attack. And also its new move Flame Wheel, which gives Ash the mineral badge, making it his sixth badge overall. After this, he participates in the Extreme Pokemon Race, where unfortunately Gary is able to outspeed Belief using its Arcanine, and This means that Ash will not have the Panpy egg that he had in the original timeline. Instead, before heading to Mahogany Town, he is able to catch himself a Mareep, and he sends Noctowl back to Professor Oak as he intends to use Mareep in his next gym battle, which would be against the Ice-type specialist Price. Due to the absence of Team Rocket, Price never finds out his Piloswine, and this leads to a 2-on-2 battle. The first Pokemon that Price sends out is his Dewgong, and Ash, after training Mareep up a bit, sends it out. Mareep proves to be quite powerful as it's able to defeat Dewgong with a powerful Thunderbolt attack. However, when Price sends out his Sneasel, things are quite different. Sneasel has an overwhelming speed advantage over Mareep and is able to defeat it using Night Slash and Quick Attack. Ash once again matches speed with speed as he sends out Eevee. Quick Attack are exchanged between the two Pokemon, and Night Slash connects on Eevee. However, Eevee is able to charge up a Skull Bash and is able to defeat Sneasel after a closely fought battle. After defeating Sneasel in a closely fought battle, Ash wins the Glacier Badge, making his seventh badge. Nothing much happens between this and Blackthorn City, so let's skip to that part. Ash goes to Blackthorn City Gym and meets Claire, who claims that she can hold her own even in battles against the Elite Four. Ash, realizing that this would be a tough battle, trains trains for a day before arriving at the gym the very next day. The battle begins and Claire sends out her Kingdra and Ash sends out Croconaw. Due to Totodile having a previous experience battling Kingdra, Ash is pretty confident that now an evolved Croconaw would be able to make quick work of the Water Dragon type. However, he is quickly brought down to earth as he realizes that the difference between the Kingdra that the battle before and Claire's Kingdra is enormous. Croconaw is completely overpowered and outspurred by Kingdra, who defeats him with a powerful Dragon Breath. Croconaw was not able to land a single hit on Kingdra, and this makes us realize that Claire is in a league of her own. The next Pokemon Ash sends out is his Bayleaf, and they are able to avoid most of Kingra's Dragon Breath using Vine Whip and Razor Leaf. However, Kingra has a secret ace up its sleeve, and that is Ice Beam. Out of nowhere, it catches Bayleaf with a super effective attack, bringing it down to its knee. Bayleaf counters it with a Razor Leaf which lands a critical hit, before wrapping up Kingdra with a Vine Whip. As Bayleaf goes for a Body Slam, Kingdra fires off an Ice Beam. Bayleaf, however, maintains her composure and crashes down on the Ice Beam, taking Kingdra out with the Body Slam. However, due to being repeatedly hit by the super effective attacks, Bayleaf also goes down. This brings Ash to his last Pokemon, Eevee, and Claire sends out Dratini. And this is a close battle between the two first stage Pokemon. Eevee is able to connect with quick attacks and swift attacks. However, once Dratini wraps Eevee up using its tail, it is able to connect with a Dragon Breath, which sends Eevee crashing backwards. Eevee is able to connect with a well-timed Skull Bash, which almost KOs Dratini. Determined not to let Claire down, Dratini evolves into Dragonair. Dragonair is able to connect with the Iron Tail, followed by a Dragon Rage which takes Eevee out, thus defeating Ash in his last Johto gym battle. Ash is absolutely heartbroken after this, and he is worried about what he's going to do. His his Pokemon were not able to do any significant damage to Claire's team, as in the end he was only able to KO one of her Pokemon. And now her Dratini has evolved into Dragonair, making it even more stronger. After this, as he exits the gym, he is met by Charizard, who arrives from Charicific Valley. This gives Ash an idea. He realizes that the level Claire is at, he would take a long time using his new Pokemon to reach that level. So he decides that he would be using his old Pokemon, his original Pokemon, to battle this time. as he goes to the Dragon's Den to train, and this time because of the absence of Team Rocket, the Dragonite never goes on a rampage, so Ash is able to peacefully train there using all his Pokemon, but mostly his Charizard, Eevee, and Ivysaur, as this is the three Pokemon team he will be using in his rematch with Clear. After training for a week or two, Ash arrives back at the gym to challenge Clear, and as usual, Clear sends out her Kingdra, and this time Ash sends out Ivysaur, and the level difference and the power difference between the previous Pokemon Ash used and Ivysaur is noticeable, as Ivysaur is able to push Kingdra back with a Razor Leaf and is able to connect with its new move Sludge Bomb, which poisons Kingdra. Kingdra, however, is able to connect with a Dragon Breath which paralyzes Ivysaur. This is a close battle as they fight tooth and nail. The battle ends after Ivysaur fires a Solar Beam and Kingdra fires a Hyper Beam, two of their most powerful attacks, which results in a huge explosion knocking both Pokemon out. This forces them to send out the second Pokemon. Clear sends out a odd-looking Charizard which is black in color, and in response Ash sends out his own Charizard. They both stare each other down and roar in order to intimidate their foe. When this does not work, both trainers order them to use Flamethrower, which sends off a huge heat wave across the gym. After this, they take it to the air as they begin to trade wing attacks and slash attacks. Ash's Charizard tries to connect with a Seismic Toss, but the black Charizard reverses it and connects with another slash attack. However, while descending, Charizard is able to trap Clear's Charizard in a Fire Spin and connect with a Flamethrower, which causes a lot of damage. Clear's Charizard, not to be undone, fires off a Fire Blast attack, which barely catches Ash's Charizard but still causes major damage. As they once again go up in close and fight tooth and nail, it is obvious that they are both even in their attack power and at a similar level on top of that. Neither can gain an advantage over the other, and seeing no other option, they both call for their penultimate move, Dragon Rage. As the two Dragon Rages collide, they both try to overpower each other. However, ultimately, the two attacks are even as they take out both Pokemon, resulting in yet another double KO. And this brings both of them down to their final Pokemon. Once again, Ash sends out Eevee and Clear sends out Dragonair. And although the battle is much more even than the last time, thanks to the rigorous training that Ash has gone through along with his Eevee, Dragonair still seems to have the advantage and is able to connect with repeated Iron Tails which batter Eevee down. This triggers Eevee's own evolution into an Espeon. And now the battle is once again even. This comes down to the battle of will, as both Pokemon are equally matched in every other thing. As Clear orders a Dragon Breath, Ash orders Eevee Espeon's brand new move, Psychic Attack. After being locked in a beam struggle, eventually Espeon is able to overpower Dragonair and the Psychic completely envelops the Dragon type. When the dust settles, Dragonair is knocked out, and this gives Ash his final gym badge, the Rising Badge, and finally makes him eligible to compete in the Johto League. Thank you for watching, guys. The part 2 of this story will be of the Johto saga will be coming out very soon, and I know that some of you would be disappointed that I never evolved Eevee into Jolteon, but I just think that Mareep is a much better choice than Jolteon, and because Red had an Espeon in the games and Gary has an Umbreon, I think Espeon suits Ash a lot better. And before you guys leave, please like and subscribe to my channel if you want some more amazing what ifs like this one, and be sure to check out my old playlists as they have other amazing stories such as the history of Professor Oak and Paul challenging the Battle Frontier. Also alongside them are the story of Max's Pokemon journey, which I'm so sure that all of you would be interested in. So thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to join the Discord, like, share, and subscribe, and God bless.